I used to think starting over meant I had failed. If I had to begin again, it meant all the time I had invested was wasted. At least, that's what I told myself. Whether it was a goal I gave up on, a relationship that ended, a habit I couldn't stick to, or a version of myself I had outgrown, starting over always felt like losing. So instead of starting again, I'd stay exactly where I was. Not because I was happy, because it felt safer than admitting I had to begin from scratch. Looking back, I think that's one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck. Not because they don't know what to do, because they don't want to become beginners again. We hate feeling like we've gone backwards. But here's the strange thing. Life doesn't move in a straight line. Nobody tells you that when you're younger. You imagine life as this perfect timeline. You work hard, you succeed, you keep moving forward. But real life isn't like that. Sometimes you lose the job you thought you'd have forever. Sometimes a relationship ends when you thought it would last. Sometimes your dream changes. Sometimes you change. And suddenly, you're standing in a place you never expected to be, wondering where to go next. I've been there. And if you have too, you know how lonely it feels. It's like everyone else has their life figured out while you're back at square one. But something I've realized over the years is that most people have started over more times than you'd ever guess. They just don't talk about it. You only see where they ended up. You don't see the failed businesses, the careers they walked away from, the friendships they lost, the moments they questioned everything. You only see the finished chapter, never the blank page they had to begin with. For a long time, I believed starting over erased my progress. Now I think the opposite is true. You never actually start from zero. You start from experience. Think about it. The version of you today knows things the version of you 5 years ago didn't. You've made mistakes. You've learned lessons. You've survived things you once thought would break you. That doesn't disappear just because your circumstances change. If anything, it's the reason your next chapter might be better than the last. One of the hardest lessons I had to learn was letting go of the life I imagined I'd have. I spent so much time wishing things had worked out differently. If only I'd made a different decision. If only I'd started sooner. If only I hadn't messed things up. But the more I replayed the past, the less I was living in the present. Eventually I realized something. You can't build your future while constantly arguing with your past. At some point, you have to stop asking why it happened and start asking what you're going to do now. That question changed everything because it gave me something I hadn't felt in a long time. Control. Maybe I couldn't change yesterday, but I could still influence tomorrow. And sometimes that's enough. Starting over also taught me something about identity. For years, I thought I was supposed to have everything figured out. I thought once I became successful, I'd finally stop changing. But that's not how people work. You're supposed to evolve. The person you were at 18 shouldn't be the exact same person you are at 30. The things you wanted back then might not matter anymore. That's not failure. That's growth. Sometimes starting over isn't abandoning your old life. It's making room for a better one. Another thing I noticed is that we spend far too much time worrying about what other people will think. What if they judge me? What if they think I failed? What if they laugh? The truth is, most people are too busy dealing with their own lives to spend much time thinking about yours. And even if they do judge you, they don't have to live with your decisions. You do. So why give them that much power? If starting over gives you a chance at a better life, take it, even if it scares you, especially if it scares you. Because almost everything worthwhile begins with uncertainty. Here's something I wish someone had told me years ago. You don't have to have the entire plan figured out before you take the first step. You just need the next step. That's it. Life has a funny way of revealing the next chapter only after you've started walking, not before. Waiting until everything feels certain usually means waiting forever. Sometimes you just have to trust that you'll figure it out as you go. And honestly, that's how most people do it. They just don't admit it. If there's one thing I'd want you to remember from this video, it's this. Starting over isn't a sign that your story is over. Sometimes it's the first page of the chapter you'll be most proud of. The job you leave, the city you move to, the habit you finally break, the dream you finally chase. None of those things happen without the courage to begin again. So don't be embarrassed that you're starting over. Be proud that you're brave enough to. because every person you admire has been a beginner more times than you realize. And one day, you'll look back at this season of your life, not as the moment everything fell apart, but as the moment everything finally started coming together.